February 3, 1947. A salt mine near Merkers, Germany. American archivist Captain Robert Kempner descends 2,100 feet into darkness. He's looking for gold, for stolen art, for the treasures the Nazis hid as their Reich collapsed. He finds something else. In a sealed chamber, protected from moisture and decay, are filing cabinets, hundreds of them. Inside are documents the Nazis tried desperately to destroy. Documents they burned in bonfires as Soviet troops approached Berlin. Documents they threw into rivers, buried in forests, hid in walls. But these survived. And what they contain is worse than anyone imagined. These aren't propaganda. These aren't theories or accusations. These are the Nazis' own records. Typed reports, signed orders, architectural blueprints, accounting ledgers, meeting minutes. The complete bureaucratic paper trail of genocide. The kind of documentation that corporations keep to track inventory and productivity. Except the inventory is human beings, and the productivity is murder. Captain Kempner opens the first file. It's labeled Einsatzgruppen Operational Situation Report, USSR number 73, dated September 4, 1941. He starts reading, his hands begin to shake. Breakdown Einsatzkommando 4A, 362 executions. Breakdown, 214 Jewish adults, 83 Jewish children, 65 communists. The next page, Einsatzkommando 5, 1,107 executions. Location Uman. The next, Einsatzkommando 6, 800 executions. Method, mass shooting. This isn't evidence of war crimes. This is a progress report on mass murder, written, filed, and preserved with the same bureaucratic precision as a quarterly sales report. These are the secret Nazi files, the documents they tried to destroy, the evidence they knew would condemn them. And what makes these files so shocking isn't just what they reveal about Nazi crimes. It's what they reveal about how those crimes were organized, documented, and treated as ordinary administrative work by ordinary bureaucrats who filed murder reports before going home to dinner. Welcome to Beyond the Silence. Before we open files that the Nazis desperately tried to keep hidden, files that reveal genocide wasn't chaos but paperwork, hit that subscribe button. Beyond the Silence doesn't just tell you what happened. We show you the evidence, the documents, the smoking guns that prove evil was systematic, calculated, and thoroughly documented. If you want the truth backed by the Nazis' own words, subscribe now. The Einsatzgruppen reports are perhaps the most chilling documents to survive the war. Einsatzgruppen were mobile killing units that followed the German army into Eastern Europe. Their job was simple: murder Jews, Roma, communists, and anyone else the Nazis deemed undesirable. They did this primarily through mass shootings. Victims were marched to pits, forced to undress, and shot, sometimes thousands in a single day. But here's what makes the Einsatzgruppen reports so uniquely horrifying: they documented everything. These weren't rough estimates or vague descriptions. These were detailed daily reports sent back to Berlin. Each Einsatzgruppe was divided into smaller units, Einsatzkommandos and Sonderkommandos, and each unit filed regular situation reports. The reports followed a standard format: location, date, number of executions, breakdown by category, Jewish men, Jewish women, Jewish children, communists, partisans, method used, and sometimes even challenges encountered. Report after report, the language is clinical, bureaucratic, detached. September 12, 1941. Einsatzkommando 3, Kaunas, 3,207 Jewish men, 1,812 Jewish women, 1,742 Jewish children executed. Total to date, 47,814. No emotion, no moral reflection, just numbers. The reports were typed on official letterhead, signed by commanding officers, filed in triplicate. They were distributed to various Nazi offices for information and coordination. These weren't secret whispers, this was official correspondence. The reports prove beyond any doubt that the killings weren't random acts of violence by soldiers gone rogue. They were systematic operations conducted under clear orders with expected quotas and regular accountability. The commanding officers weren't hiding what they were doing. They were reporting it proudly, expecting praise for efficiency. Responses from Berlin would sometimes congratulate units on particularly high numbers or efficient operations. One of the most complete sets of Einsatzgruppen reports is the Jäger Report, compiled by SS Standartenführer Karl Jäger, commander of Einsatzkommando 3 operating in Lithuania. Jäger kept meticulous records from June to December 1941. His final summary, dated December 1, 1941, totals 137,346 people murdered. The report breaks down victims by date, location, and category. It reads like an accountant's ledger. October 29th, Kaunas. 2,007 Jewish men, 2,920 Jewish women, 4,273 Jewish children. Method: shooting. Jäger's report includes a statement that reveals the Nazi mindset. I can confirm today that Einsatzkommando 3 has achieved the goal of solving the Jewish problem in Lithuania. There are no more Jews in Lithuania, apart from working Jews and their families. He's writing about genocide like a project manager reporting completion of a construction project. Problem identified, solution implemented, project complete. These reports were discovered in various forms after the war. Some were captured by advancing Allied forces. Some were found in abandoned Nazi offices. Some were hidden by low-level bureaucrats who kept copies, perhaps sensing they might be valuable insurance. The reports became crucial evidence at Nuremberg and subsequent war crimes trials. When Nazi defendants claimed they didn't know about mass murders, prosecutors produced the reports. When they claimed killings were isolated incidents, prosecutors showed the systematic documentation spanning years and territories. But the Einsatzgruppen reports weren't the only damning documents. On January 20, 1942, 15 high-ranking Nazi officials met at a villa on Wannsee Lake in Berlin. The meeting's purpose was to coordinate the final solution to the Jewish question. What makes this meeting extraordinary is that someone took minutes. Official minutes of a meeting planning genocide is a 15-page document that summarizes the meeting's discussion. It's written in bureaucratic language, but the meaning is clear. The document lists the Jewish population of every European country, totaling approximately 11 million. It discusses methods for identifying Jews, procedures for deportation, and plans for evacuation to the east, a euphemism for murder. The protocol even discusses what to do about partial Jews and mixed marriages, treating human categorization like filing paperwork. What's chilling is the tone. This isn't passionate ideological ranting, this is administrative coordination. Different departments had different concerns. The Justice Ministry worried about legal complications. The Interior Ministry worried about jurisdiction issues. The Foreign Office worried about diplomatic complications with allied countries. And Reinhard Heydrich, who chaired the meeting, coordinated solutions. They discussed genocide the way a corporate board discusses expanding into new markets. Only one complete copy of the Wannsee Protocol survived the war. The Nazis tried to destroy all copies as defeat approached, but one copy, marked as the 16th of 30, was found in German Foreign Office files. That single document became one of the most important pieces of evidence, proving the Holocaust was centrally planned and coordinated at the highest levels of Nazi leadership. The protocol proves that genocide wasn't the chaotic result of wartime hatred. It was policy, decided in a meeting, documented in minutes, distributed to relevant departments for implementation. The banality is terrifying. These men discussed murder between servings of lunch. They took coffee breaks while planning the deaths of millions. But documentation didn't stop at planning. The Nazis documented execution too. Architectural blueprints of death camps survived. These aren't rough sketches. These are professional architectural drawings, complete with measurements, material specifications, and construction details. The blueprints for Auschwitz-Birkenau's crematoria are particularly revealing. The blueprints, stamped with the seal of the SS construction office, show gas chambers labeled as Leichenkeller, corpse cellars, or special treatment rooms. The crematoria ovens are drawn with precise specifications. There are calculations for ventilation systems to remove gas after each use. There are workflow diagrams showing how bodies would move from gas chambers to cremation ovens via elevators. These are professional documents created by trained architects and engineers. One blueprint shows Crematorium 2 at Birkenau. The drawing clearly indicates an underground undressing room connecting to a large chamber with special ventilation. The chamber has openings in the ceiling marked for Zyklon B introduction devices. Upstairs are cremation ovens with capacity calculations. The entire facility is designed for one purpose: efficiently murdering and disposing of large numbers of people. These blueprints weren't hidden. They were official construction documents. Contractors bid on the work. Construction companies submitted invoices. The Topf und Sonne company, which designed the ovens, sent business correspondence discussing oven capacity and fuel efficiency. In one letter, top engineers proudly describe improvements that increased cremation capacity. They're selling murder equipment with the same professional pride a company might sell factory machinery. The existence of these blueprints destroys any argument that death camps evolved chaotically or that their purpose was unclear. They were designed from the beginning as killing facilities. The architects knew what they were designing. The construction workers knew what they were building. The contractors knew what they were installing, and they all documented it meticulously because that's what professionals do. As the war turned against Germany, the Nazis frantically tried to destroy evidence. In the final months, bonfires burned across Germany as officials incinerated documents. Entire archives went up in flames. But you can't destroy everything. Some documents were hidden rather than burned. Some were captured before they could be destroyed. Some were preserved by officials who thought they might need evidence to defend themselves later. American and British forces advancing from the West captured numerous Nazi archives before they could be destroyed. Soviet forces advancing from the East captured even more. In occupied territories, resistance members sometimes stole documents from Nazi offices. After the war, intelligence agencies began the massive task of cataloging captured Nazi records. They found documents in abandoned government buildings, in salt mines where archives had been hidden, in private homes of Nazi officials. In 1990, after the fall of the Berlin Wall, another wave of documents emerged from Soviet archives. The Soviets had captured massive amounts of Nazi records and kept them classified for decades. When Soviet archives opened, historians gained access to materials that hadn't been seen since 1945. This included complete files on concentration camp operations, SS personnel records, and previously unknown directives from Nazi leadership. Even today, documents occasionally surface. In 2014, a cache of Nazi documents was discovered in a Buenos Aires apartment, apparently brought there by a Nazi official who fled to Argentina after the war. In 2019, construction workers in Berlin found a sealed box containing Gestapo files hidden in a building's walls. The discovery of new documents continues to refine our understanding of how the Nazi system operated. What these files collectively reveal is the profound bureaucratization of evil. Genocide wasn't carried out in a frenzy of irrational hatred. It was implemented as policy, with planning meetings, budget allocations, personnel assignments, and progress reports. The Nazis treated mass murder as an administrative challenge to be solved with German efficiency. The files show endless mundane details of genocide. There are invoices for Zyklon B gas, the poison used in gas chambers, with quantity discounts for bulk orders. There are railway schedules coordinating deportation trains, with fees charged per person transported. There are personnel files for concentration camp guards, complete with performance reviews and promotion recommendations. There are supply requisitions for crematorium fuel. There are construction delays for gas chamber renovations. Every aspect of systematic murder was documented with the same bureaucratic precision as any other government program. This documentation served multiple purposes for the Nazis. It provided accountability and coordination across different agencies. It allowed leadership to monitor progress toward genocidal goals. It satisfied the German bureaucratic culture's need for proper record-keeping. And perhaps most disturbingly, it normalized genocide by treating it as ordinary administrative work. The psychological effect of documentation is significant. When you're filling out forms and filing reports, you're not confronting the moral horror of what you're doing, you're just doing paperwork. The documents created a buffer between the bureaucrats in Berlin and the reality of mass murder. The secret Nazi files also reveal extensive complicity. The distribution lists on documents show how many people were informed of genocidal policies. Internal correspondence shows that knowledge of mass murder extended far beyond a small group of fanatics. The files destroy the post-war German claim that we didn't know. The documentation was extensive, it was distributed widely, it was discussed openly in internal communications. These files also complicate the just following orders defense. The documentation shows initiative and enthusiasm, not reluctant obedience. Einsatzgruppen commanders competed to report higher body counts. Engineers designed more efficient killing methods without being ordered to. Administrators streamlined deportation processes to improve throughput. The files show people actively trying to excel at genocide, not reluctantly obeying. At Nuremberg and subsequent trials, prosecutors could prove Nazi crimes using the Nazis' own documents. Defendants couldn't deny mass murder when shown reports they'd signed. They couldn't claim ignorance when shown meeting minutes they'd attended. But these files matter beyond legal proceedings. They're historical evidence of the highest quality. Primary source documents created at the time by the perpetrators themselves. They allow historians to reconstruct exactly what happened, when, how, and on whose orders. They prevent Holocaust denial. When deniers claim the Holocaust didn't happen or was exaggerated, historians can point to thousands of Nazi documents proving systematic genocide. The secret Nazi files reveal something profoundly disturbing about human nature and modern civilization. Thank you for watching Beyond the Silence. The secret Nazi files prove that the Holocaust wasn't chaotic violence, it was systematic policy, carefully planned, efficiently executed, and thoroughly documented by people who went to work each day and filed murder reports. If you believe in preserving evidence that prevents denial and demands accountability, subscribe to Beyond the Silence right now. Hit that like button if you think documentation matters. If you believe the Nazis' own words condemn them beyond any doubt, leave a comment about what shocks you most. That they committed these crimes, or that they documented them so carefully? Turn on notifications because every week we bring you the evidence they tried to hide, the documents they tried to burn, the truth that survives beyond the silence.